Hi, everyone. Welcome to the In the Trenches webinar. I'm really excited to have Christi Cupp here today. Christi is the clinical manager of Wichita Optometry. They're a very fast-growing optometry practice. I think it just started recording, so I got to start again because it just went solid. All right.
Okay.
One more time.
Sure.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the In the Trenches webinar. I'm really excited to have Christi Cupp with me today. She's the clinical manager at Wichita Optometry. They're a very fast-growing optometry practice, multiple practices in Wichita. She's been with them for over 9 years and manages the schedule, the full clinical side of the practices. They have 4 there. Started with 1, have grown into 4 locations, doing over 500 visits per week, multiple doctors, very fast-growing practice. She's been kind enough to come and offer some advice on things that they're doing that are working. So hopefully you'll be able to take a few of these things away and apply them in your practices and help those grow. So Christi, thanks for being here.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Well, first things first, let's just go over marketing channels. What are the biggest marketing channels that are driving new patients into your practice?
Well, the biggest marketing that we have is we do Google reviews.
Okay.
And so when somebody new comes to town, a lot of times they'll just search optometrist. And we're number one or one of the first optometry groups that pop up. So that's a great big help. And those Google reviews, when a patient leaves our office, they get sent, hey, how was your visit today? Send out a review, and that really helps. And even if it's a bad review, which we do get sometimes on occasion, we address those and try to make sure that the patient's needs are met. So then they would come back possibly and be like, hey, I had this issue, but it got resolved and I was taken care of.
Yeah. So I want to ask some more specifics on that. I think a lot of people try to get reviews. I've seen your Google reviews, and you guys are very successful at getting reviews. Do you prime people while they're in the office, letting them know they're going to get a text, or do you just send a text to everyone and hope that you've taken good enough care of them that they'll leave a review? How does the whole system there work?
Well, I'm going to back up just a little bit, because when we schedule our patients, we let them know up front, hey, you're going to get a text message about your appointment. And if you need anything from us between now and your appointment time, you can just text our office.
Mm-hmm.
You can call. We'd love to hear from you, but if you can't get through, send us a text message and we'll respond.
Yeah.
If we miss their call, then a text message goes out. So they're sort of already primed from the beginning.
Yeah.
When they do come in, we do let them know that they will get a review upon checkout, a survey, so to speak, which has limited questions on it, but very directed questions.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have to wait more than 15 minutes for your appointment? Were you greeted with a smile, and were you welcomed? Did you have any questions about your insurance, or were your benefits explained to you?
Mm-hmm.
All of these things. But so when we do that on the survey, we try to make sure that the patient experience from when they walk in the door to when they leave, we've hit all of those bullet points, all of those questions. So that way it's easy for them to respond.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. That's a really, really good strategy. Basically checking off the things that you want to make sure are happening and then asking them to make sure that they happen is like a fail-safe, right? You're going to definitely address those if you know they're going to get a text that asks if you address them.
Exactly. And then knowing that that they can respond to us.
Yeah.
And we have many ways for them to connect with us. So besides the text message, they can go to our website and they can email us, even if it's they just have a question about something, or they want to vent about something and they didn't want to put it in the review.
Mm-hmm.
And those are directed, actually, I'm the one who gets those. So I see those and I review those daily to make sure that patient needs are met.
Awesome. That's yeah. It's pretty clear why you're so successful with getting those reviews. Now, is that the only thing you're doing with Google, or do you have a company working on your website to help you rank higher? Or
We do have a company that works with our that does our website, iMatrix. So they do that. We also have Facebook.
Mhm.
We have Facebook messages that go out, or advertisements, if you want to call it, promoting what we do in the office,
Okay.
talking about children's vision, to vision therapy, to glaucoma needs,
Mhm.
all of those things. We also have unconventionally, our doctors like to give our staff, which I think is awesome. We get jackets and sometimes T-shirts promoting Wichita Optometry that we wear outside of the office. And so people ask us, "Hey, you work at Wichita Optometry?" And we're like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
And you can call us at this number. And the thing that helps is we have one phone number for all locations.
Okay.
So that sort of spearheads things.
Yeah.
Um, we have one website for all locations.
Mhm.
We have one email for all locations, one fax number for all locations, trying to make it simple for patients to connect with us.
Yeah, and I think that also simplifies. You're giving people cards. You're telling them what number to call. You don't have to say, well, what part of town do you live in? You don't have to figure it out right there. Just to call this number, or visit our website, or send us an email here, and then you can work it out after they've contacted you. So I think that's a great idea.
Exactly. And word of mouth, too, is really huge. It doesn't matter if you're in a big town or a small town. We all know that word of mouth from patients is the best advertisement you can get.
Yeah,
And so we do have specific groups, Textron, Spirit, those places, those large corporations,
mhm,
Coke. Our school district is pretty big. And so we're providers for those people who have that vision insurance. And
sure.
so word of mouth, they had a great experience. Hey, you're going to get more.
Yeah. Do you do anything to perpetuate that, to like help them talk more to their friends and coworkers, or just take really
We
good?
have started some what we call health fairs. We're working that avenue where companies have health fairs for their employees. And so we can go in and we can promote
Mhm.
Wichita Optometry and some of the unique things that we have to offer.
Yeah, that's really awesome. I think those are some. You've mentioned a few things. I think everyone kind of tries with the Google reviews. You mentioned a few things that'll be more helpful in getting those. Um, I always recommend that you hire a really good search engine optimization company in conjunction with gathering those reviews, unless
Hmm.
you're in a small town. Because in a small town, you could probably rank with just getting a lot of reviews. In a bigger town, you're going to have quite a few competitors that probably also have a lot of reviews, so you need to go a little bit above and beyond. So thank you for talking about that. I really liked, having kind of swag that your employees get, that they get to wear around in the community, and that's promoting your business. I think that's a really great idea, and people asking about it, and then um, yeah, having just a card that they can give them, and um, yeah, and then the health fairs. That's a really great idea as well. Going to companies that you're already in network with their insurance, and uh, trying to get more people that are already qualified to come to your office, to come in. How I want to go over one more thing. As far as the experience goes, I think I've owned small businesses in the past, and I think almost all small businesses really try to get word of mouth referrals going. And some are much more successful than others at that. Um, are you asking people to send their friends and family? Are you just going above and beyond with the patient experience, or how have you gotten those aspects to be successful?
Well, I'm sure that our marketing person might say something different, but as an employee, in what I have experienced with our patients and with the longevity being with the company, um, I would say it is our vision and our values
Okay.
that really help that word of mouth, help that patient experience, so that that way they want to come in because we listen. We treat everyone with respect and the same. It doesn't matter what insurance they have
Hmm.
or if they're self-pay.
Right.
We try because vision is um, for everyone. It doesn't matter what background you come from. It's super important,
Yeah.
you know. You're seeing the world through your eyes, or trying to enhance and make sure that somebody can see. And when you have a child who hasn't been able to see and then all of a sudden they can, or somebody who has double vision and you put prism on their glasses and they're like, wow, that's what that's supposed to look like.
Mm.
Or you work really hard with somebody who really wants to wear contacts because maybe they're in the media
Hmm.
field, and glasses don't always help when you have a camera pointed at you, um, and they haven't been able to wear contacts because the contacts that were out there were just not working. And so Dr. Heidi works so hard to get these people in scleral contact lenses, and they're like, wow, this has changed my life.
Yeah.
you know when you go above and beyond, and you help those patients, it's easy for them to spread word of mouth.
Yeah. Definitely. And
So with that, it's the vision and the values, and we put patient first, um, and integrity. And if we make a mistake, as far as maybe with an appointment, we scheduled it at the wrong time, or whatever, we own it to our patients.
sure, that's awesome. Yeah, that's, putting the emphasis on every single person that's in and trying to make sure that their experience is as great as possible. Um, I've done a lot of these interviews in different industries now, and it's almost always what it comes back to. That's the crux of putting together a good marketing strategy, is making sure that people are having a good experience. So I like that you spoke to that. Now, you spoke a little bit to this already, but brand positioning, in the community, what is the image of your brand, Wichita Optometry, that you're trying to make sure that people have?
Well, we focus on communication, easy for them, patients, or to communicate with us, and that they're being heard.
Mhm.
Also, integrity, and having our vision and our values that we give to the patient, or that we promote from within.
Yeah.
So
And that's what it sounded like from your previous description of how you're perpetuating those that word of mouth advertising, is making sure that those two things align: your brand vision and your overall experience. So
yeah,
that's great.
and we try to make sure that patients can communicate with us very easily and get in touch with us. We have online appointments, so they can go in and they can pick a doctor or a location and a time if need be.
Mhm.
We follow up, and even though they might get a text message, if they didn't confirm it, we have staff that go in the day before, 2 days before, and give that patient a courtesy call and say, hey, I noticed your appointment wasn't confirmed. Are you still coming in? Do we need to reschedule? Is this going to work for you?
Yeah.
And we do have some patients that are like, stop texting us, uh, you know, but for the most part, in the busy lifestyle that we have nowadays, most everyone really appreciates it.
Yeah. I want to touch on that as well. You were describing open lines of communication from the very beginning, which is really awesome. And then you also mentioned there are a few patients that are like, "Oh, this is overkill. Please stop." And sometimes, as businesses, we see those things and we make critical changes based on the feedback of the minority, right? There's a couple
Mhm.
of people that don't like it, so I've got to figure out something else so that everyone likes it. But most people do like it, and that's a huge takeaway: is don't change your systems because a few minority don't like it. Try to make it so it's the best for the practice and the best for your patients and potential patients. And if a few people don't like it, it's okay. You can't please everyone. Do what's the best for the business. So, yeah, I love that. As far as communications go, communication has changed a little bit. With COVID-19 and things being closed and open and closed and open and all the different regulations. Here in Utah, we've
Our
been yeah, yeah. We just went back to orange here in Utah, so that's we're experiencing that where you've got to be communicating in a different way so that your patients know when they can come in, when they can't, what to do when they get there. What are some communication systems that you've changed or put in place since COVID started?
Well, we do have on our website COVID updates.
Hmm.
So that would go for anything that had to do with the office or your appointment.
Yeah.
Um, and for those that are not as tech savvy,
Hmm.
we do have the old school sign posted on the door.
Yeah.
Wear your mask if you're not feeling well. Make sure that you reschedule your appointment. And then we make sure that our staff is trained. We take everyone's temperature when they come in. We offer them a mask if they don't have one at this point, and ask them to kindly wear it. And again, patients have options.
Yes.
No one wants to really wear a mask.
Right.
We're all tired, but we have to.
Yeah.
Um, so we give patients options. We want to see you, we want to take care of you, but if you don't feel comfortable, then that's definitely your prerogative and we can reschedule you.
Yeah.
It's your convenience. And just trying to make sure that we meet them at a place where we show compassion and that they understand.
Yeah.
So, as far as other options, we have sent out mass text messages or emails. If there's any serious updates, like when COVID first hit, we sent out messages that because we had to close down a couple of our offices,
Hmm.
and we pared back to a couple of doctors, one doctor per location, trying to cut down and make sure that we had social distancing in place.
Hmm.
Um, but even now, uh, when we schedule patients, sometimes they'll ask us, hey, can I bring my significant other? And depending on the circumstance, we let them come in because it's always good to have an extra pair of ears to hear what the doctor's saying. But then we also try to discourage people from bringing in the whole family if it's not needed.
Right.
So
And
just
this is
trying to maintain.
this is primarily done via text message, from what you're saying.
Some of it's done, yes, via text message or from our website.
Okay.
So where we have our COVID postings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's I would speak to that just a little bit in that some people still haven't fully adopted two-way text messaging as a way that they can just like text the patient and the patients are okay with that. This is a great time to transition to that. Not only is text messaging with patients more convenient because you don't have to find a time that you're both available, it's it's just easier in a busy lifestyle. And right now, your patients are almost expecting that, because they're expecting, when I'm doing business with a local business, I'm expecting to know, do you have limitations on how many people can be inside? Do I text you when I get there? How does this whole thing work? Unless I'm like going to somewhere where I've been a lot of times, if it's something that I have an appointment once every 6 months or every few months and I haven't been in a little while, I'm definitely expecting to hear what their protocols are. And it's a perfect time to establish that line of communication and implement that in your practice. It sounds like you guys have been doing that for quite a while, and it's been very helpful during COVID. But anyone who's not already doing that, take advantage of this and communicate the protocols. Let patients know that you're taking care of them. You're concerned about it, and you've got processes in place to keep them safe. So
Oh, yes.
I love all those things that you mentioned, and that you have that open line of communication where you can send them a text, they can send you a text, um, and work through whatever they need to work through, make sure they feel safe. So
Of
uh,
course.
we're running up on time here, so I want to ask one more question, probably one of my favorite questions. Um, you've got a lot of experience now in managing an optometry clinic. In your more than 9 years of working in a clinic and managing a clinic, if you got to take all of your experience and go and give a doctor advice on their first day in the clinic, owning their own clinic, what advice would that be?
That would be to make sure that you have the right equipment, and not just what's in the exam lane, or what's in the pre-test area. But when I'm talking equipment, I'm talking the right EHR, I'm talking the right phone system, I'm talking the right fax system, the right way that you can reach out to patients or have them reach to you. And then to make sure that your staff is trained and is up to date. Um, and speaking to that, I think we've been on, I can't, we for 5 years now, something along those lines. And it has grown with us. It has made changes. It has been very responsive to our practice needs and our patient needs. Like if I have a doctor who calls in the day of and is like, hey, I'm super sick, I was planning on being there, I can hop on and I can send all those patients that were scheduled before they even get to the office. Hey, I'm sorry, but your doctor's out sick. We need to reschedule you.
Yeah,
Just having the right equipment makes it huge,
yeah,
huge difference.
I totally agree with that. This is really, really good advice. Starting day one. This is the first time I've had this advice of all the people that I've asked this question, and I really love it. Like this is people don't realize that sometimes when you try to cut corners on your setup and the way that things are going to function systemically uh, inside your practice, and from a software, from a equipment standpoint, that you're losing time, right? It's further complicating the process, and it takes time away from, let's say Christy's now got to do an extra step or two extra steps or be on the phone all day because you didn't put the right systems in place. That takes time away from Christy interacting with your patients and making sure that they have an exceptional experience. So trying to get that full process streamlined, all the kinks worked out, investing a little bit more into that equipment and software is definitely worthwhile, especially up front, and making sure that your patients are having an exceptional experience from day one. So
Your patients are going to have exceptional experience when your staff is confident in the equipment that they have, that they're working with, and that it's going to meet the needs of the practice and grow.
definitely. Well, Christy, I really appreciate your time. This was very
Sure.
valuable information. I'm sure everyone that was watching got something that they could go and apply in their practice, and hopefully make it better. And that's the goal of these In the Trenches podcasts. So again, thank you so much for being on.
Thank you.